Rather lads, welcome back to Cossy Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to brand new video. We're going to be diving into the latest around Arsenal. This is an emergency episode. This is an emergency video. Florian Balogun is in talks to sign for Chelsea this summer. Arsenal are willing to sell him. The player doesn't want to stay. And Chelsea are emerging as the real priority candidates for the young American citizen who has just changed actually citizenship from the UK, from England to America. Arsenal cannot let this happen. We cannot sell Florian Balogun to Chelsea. Literally, after signing Kai Havertz from Chelsea, we've just made them stronger by giving them £65 million, which they will use to sign Moises Caicedo. We cannot give them Florian Balogun now. Like, you remember when we gave them Ashley Cole during the Arsene Wenger era, and when he went on to become one of the greatest Premier League left backs and one of the greatest left backs in the world. We cannot give them Florian Balogun. This is a huge mistake. Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. I want your thoughts on Florian Balogun to Chelsea as we dive into the article written by The Guardian, claiming that the Chelsea are in talks to sign Florian Balogun. I want your thoughts on this one. He's a high quality forward, and I think he would revolutionize the number 9 signing for Chelsea. Like, literally, Chelsea have not signed a sensible 9 ever since Didier Drogba, probably. They've not signed a striker that has actually worked out. To make matters worse, they've spent millions and millions, hundreds of millions on that position, and it has not worked out. But I tell you what, if Florian Balogun goes to Chelsea and a Mauricio Pochettino, they will make it happen. He will make that number alive again, and that is not what we want. Now, the story has been written by the Guardian couple of hours ago, and they're saying that among the transfer rumors, Chelsea to sign Arsenal striker Florian Balogun. So the story says that if you like moves to be shocking, you might be knocked over by a feather after reading that Chelsea are in talks to sign Arsenal striker Florian Balogun. The forward spent last season out on loan at Reims, where he banged in the League One goals, but he has done enough to guarantee him a place in Mikel Arteta's side. Chelsea have already signed a couple of strikers, which would not help Florian Balogun's prospects at the Stamford Bridge. But hey ho, Balogun does seem to have options. However, with Milan, International, Marseille, Monaco all keeping tabs on the 22-year-old USA international. That is the story, and that is what is happening with Florian Balogun. Chelsea in talks to sign Florian Balogun. That is number one. He's not short of options, and that is the second bit that we have to discuss in this video. But let's first dive into Balogun and Arsenal and why it's not going to work. So, Balogun signed his new deal. I think it was in the January of 2021. And he was sent out on loan. He's one of those players that are really too mature for the Arsenal under-23s. Like, he became too mature for the Arsenal under-23s that you can't keep him there. So Arsenal decided to send him out on a couple of loan deals, one in the Championship and one last season in the French League, where he actually did very, very well, scoring 21 goals as a young player in your novice season in one of the top European leagues. Is absolutely phenomenal. Yes, the French League One could be a farmers league. It could be one of those leagues where goals do go into the back of the net easy, but not everyone goes there at the age of 20, 21 and scores as many as 21. Okay, so I give him a lot of credit, especially playing for a club like Reims. He wasn't playing for Marseille. He wasn't playing for Lyon, where Alexander Lacazette was actually, hitting it up. He wasn't playing for PSG. He was playing for Reims. Okay, so to put all that into perspective, he's actually done very well, and his market value has gone up. Now, Arsenal are looking to sell some players this summer. We know that, and Balogun is one of the prized assets. I've talked about him. He's one of the players that can command up to 50 million euros. Like if Arsenal sit down and they ask for 50 million euros, there's so many clubs that will be willing to pay up to that much. Of course, it will mean that the payments are a little bit split, right? Add-ons and a few things here and there, clauses here and there. But I believe we can get 50 million euros from the sale of Florian Balogun, but not from Chelsea. Like, literally not from Chelsea. We have strengthened Chelsea by giving them 65 million, that is 75 million euros, in the sale of Kai Havertz. Of course, we do strengthen ourselves as well by getting Havertz. But do you know that 75 million euros is going to directly help Chelsea to bring in Moises Caicedo? Like, that is what we've done. We've given them the funds, we've given them the money to go and sign Moises Caicedo, one of the best defensive midfielder, if not the best defensive midfielder in the Premier League last season. So, after giving them the funds to correct their midfield, after giving them the funds to rehabilitate their midfield, we cannot give them a striker. We cannot give them Florian Balogun. Now, the article in the Guardian says that Chelsea have signed a couple of strikers and probably Balogun doesn't have anywhere to stay. That is pure nonsense. That is absolutely pure nonsense. You look at Chelsea right now, they do not even have a player that they can rely on for goals. I don't think they have a player they can rely on for goals. Of course, Christoph Nkunku is one interesting shout. He's come from the German Bundesliga. He's been hitting goals there, but him coming to the Premier League and why he plays, really, does he play as a striker or do you want to play him as a left winger, as a support striker probably? I think Christoph Nkunku is going to play on the left or on the right? He will score the goals for me. He will be that goal scorer for Chelsea. They will depend on him for goals, but I don't think it's going to be that straight out and out striker going through the middle. Nicholas Jackson, with all due respect, Nicholas Jackson is a signing that will not work for Chelsea. I will be very surprised if Chelsea gets something very good out of Nicholas Jackson. Like, I will be very, very surprised. I don't think it's a signing that makes a lot of sense. I don't think it's a signing that, ticks any boxes for them. I think, listen, what they need a 20-25 goal scorer. That is not Nicholas Jackson. They need a target man. That is not Nicholas Jackson. They need a boy that can, a man that can be in the penalty area, create a force in the penalty area, a fox in the box. That is not Nicholas Jackson. Like, I don't know why they signed him, but Mauricio Pochettino will actually explain in his, coming press conferences. When Chelsea are not scoring goals, they're not winning games, but he signed a 35 million Nicholas Jackson. They will tell us. So Balogun is kind of the icing on the cake. They're losing Romelu Lukaku. They're doing away with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. They need a striker in that caliber. They need a striker in that form. Like a striker you call a striker. It's Florian Balogun. And you know me, guys. I've always said, you let go of Edin Nketiah, you keep Florian Balogun. Balogun is a striker, and Balogun takes his chances, and Balogun is very, very accurate and clinical. That is not in Edin Nketiah, that is not in Romelu Lukaku anymore, that is not in Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang anymore, right? And Chelsea's youth system and setup is one other thing that we can't afford to give Balogun to Chelsea. Like, if they bought him for 40 million euros, I guarantee you this, he will make them huge amounts of money, right? He's a talent that just needs to be under the under good manager, like he was at Reims or Mauricio Pochettino or Mikel Arteta. Depends on the manager he will be under. He's a talent that just needs 2 good seasons, and he will be 70 million euros. He will be worth 70 million euros. Like, I look at Balogun and I look at Victor Osimhen and I do my calculations and I'm like, yes, vectors, whatever, Pythagorean theories. And I don't see how Osimhen is very different and special to Florian Balogun. The difference between Balogun and Osimhen is that Victor Osimhen has been at Napoli for some time. They've given him the patience. They have given him the benefit of the doubt, and he has absolutely ripped it apart in the Italian Serie A last campaign. So he's 150 million euros. But if Florian Balogun had been at Napoli last season, he would have scored the same number of goals. In my opinion, he would have scored the same number of goals as Osimhen, and he would have been 150 million euros worth right now. So we cannot make a mistake to give Balogun to Chelsea. Like, that is a mistake Arsenal cannot afford. You know those mistakes that you know deep down in your heart, I can't do that. It is catastrophic. I don't think Arsenal can afford to do that. I don't think. Like, this is a similar version of the Ashley Cole story. Like, Ashley Cole goes to Chelsea, he becomes great for them, he revolutionizes their number 3 position, and he becomes one of the best left backs in the world. I think Florian Balogun goes to Chelsea, a couple of maybe weeks, he doesn't play. The manager realizes that he needs the services of a real striker, a target man, a fox in the box, a hungry goal scorer. He puts Florian Balogun behind Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo and probably one more creative player. It's going to be problems. It's going to be absolute problems, okay? So for me, guys, let's be honest. Florian Balogun to Chelsea, we would rather keep him. We would rather keep him for another year and try to persuade him to sign a new deal as we integrate him into the side, as we integrate him into the squad. Like, I would be very happy to see him play in the Europa League. I'll be very happy to see him play in the in the FA Cup. Europa League, I mean, if Arsenal do not qualify out of the group, which is a very big possibility. I would be very happy to see him playing, completing games in the Premier League, coming on in the 70th minute, coming on the 80th minute. Because giving him to Chelsea means that we don't have a pocket of space for him. I don't think Chelsea have a big pocket of space for Florian Balogun. But I think the needs we have are similar to what Chelsea have. Chelsea don't have a box striker that is crazy and mentally crazy about scoring goals. Like, he's programmed to score goals. I don't think Arsenal have that either. Nketiah is some guy on the call, is a call boy. Gabriel Jesus is your best, hard-working striker. But they're not goal freaks. They're not your Thierry Daniel Henry. They don't want to score every single chance they get, right? They would rather make it shine than make it rain goals. So for me, Balogun to Chelsea, I absolutely disagree. And why I also disagree with these guys is, although I've said that we can get huge amounts of money from the sale of Florian Balogun, there are so many options, guys. There are so many options where Florian Balogun can go. Let's talk about these ones here, okay? The Guardian has actually mentioned 3, okay? Milan, International, Marseille, and Monaco. Now, Arsenal probably want 40 million euros, and we want a buyback clause, or probably a sell-on clause, in the contract. It should be there, okay? Of all these clubs, which one is more likely to sell Balogun in the future? If we were going to do a buyback clause or a sell-on clause? Milan definitely would sell in the future. Marseille definitely would sell in the future. And Monaco definitely would sell in the future. Inter Milan do sell, but they sell under conditions. So at times they want to sell, at times they are financially okay, and they would prefer to keep the player. So Milan, after getting over 70 million euros from the sale of Sandro Tonali, you couple that up with some of the few funds they had prepared for this summer, probably 20 million euros, probably 30 million euros. I don't know. They are really broke guys. I think Milan is a very great destination for Florian Balogun. 1, UCL. He goes there to play UCL. 2, we can see how it does in a more advanced league as compared to the French League 1. 3, Milan can pay us. Milan can pay the 40 million euros. Milan can pay the 50 million euros, right? And 4, Milan, just like they did with their players like Brahim Diaz, they will definitely agree to a sell-on clause, or they will definitely agree to a buyback clause. So Milan is 1. We could play them in the UEFA Champions League group stages, or probably quarterfinals. I don't have a problem. We will rip them apart. Okay? So Milan is 1. The next one is Monaco. Now, the fact that he's been in France for a whole year, probably, and he's performed very well, he will feel he wants to go back there and prove a point. Like, just continue that good run. Yeah, just to prove to people that it wasn't a one-season wonder, but he's a good player. And he would love to do it at a much bigger side than Reims. The problem with Monaco is they can agree to a selling clause, they can agree to a buyback clause, but they have the money to pay 40 million euros. There's a problem there. There is a problem there. Inter Milan, they will take our striker. No, Inter Milan will take a striker. The other option is actually Marseille. But with Olympique Marseille, we would have to tell Balogun, you go to Marseille, you play one more season, you blow it up, you get the experience, and you come and play for Arsenal. Like, you come and become one of the 2 main strikers at Arsenal. That means we have to convince him to sign a new deal, which he doesn't want. But of all those options, I'll be fine apart from Chelsea. Like, it's my opinion. It's an emergency hangout episode. No Balogun to Chelsea. Like, no. We cannot give them. It's the same thing when Chelsea under Jose Mourinho refused to give us Romelu Lukaku, because he said, I can't give Arsenal Romelu Lukaku when they have signed Mesut Ozil. They've signed a goal-making machine. I can't give them the tip of the iceberg. I can't. I can't give them the icing on the cake. I can't. So we literally cannot. We can't. Sorry, Chelsea.